So it's time for the review. The majority were correct today, in the fact that the majority had put that we were going to lose. And I think we're getting pretty used to the feeling of losing by this point. The song we lose every week would be being sung at this point from the terraces because we really are losing every game. I think that's 16 games since our last win. At this point, we could have stayed up today had there been a draw in another game, but once again, we are looking at other teams to decide our fate. At the moment, you have the argument with Wigan and will they get their points deduction, but it's just not what you want keeping you up, because you'll have that asterisk in ideas next to your name, the relegation that should have been. Now, in my eyes, once again, it was a dreadful performance. We had a couple of good chances from Duke had one, Harley Dean had one, Bella had an alright chance, and there was also a good chance for Bellingham. But we left them open again. Another goal from a set piece. Now, we're getting fed up of saying it, that we clearly aren't practicing on the training ground set pieces because of the amount we concede. It just isn't going well at all from that point of view. We're struggling to defend, and the players are more and more struggling to look like they're caring. But hey, still, I don't think that, obviously relegation isn't going to be decided by Wednesday, as unless Wigan are 13 points off relegation, which I think is impossible now. If we can get a 12-point deduction, they would be below us, whatever would happen. So we should be looking at the bright side and thinking, well, we should be surviving. But let's be honest, if we were that third team in the relegation places and the EFL could deduct them 12 points to relegate us, they'd deduct them 6. The EFL want us gone. The EFL want us in that bad position. But once again, we're looking at another defeat, another game where we just didn't look at the races in the defence. We just didn't look there, and too many players didn't look like they cared. Now, there was multiple players who I will give respect to today in today's performance. I will give a man of the match because I feel like there is one that deserves it. I thought that Crowley had a shocker today. I don't think he played well at all. I thought Gardner had a decent game. He had a couple of decent attempts, one decent cross as well. Bellingham looked out there, looked like he was caring for it. Dukey looked like he won a couple of headers. He knocked a few on. Hogan was nowhere to be seen again. Harley Dean and Roberts had another shambles of a performance together. I think there's a mass disliked between those two players. I don't think that they're friends or on the pitch. They just don't look like a good partnership. They don't work well together, and it's a pity that we've lost Clark Salter at this point in the season, because if Clark Salter would have been there in the last two games, we may not have lost them. as I think he would have either played instead of Dean or Roberts, whichever one would have been dropped. But coming from that, we also have Colin didn't have a brilliant game. Camp made a couple of saves, but most of them were straight at him. Pedersen didn't do much, didn't show much. Yeah. Nice to see the young lads come off the bench again, but none of them really had much to show us. We 1-0 down, the team weren't playing well, and then we conceded a second one and it was all over. And it was nice to see Boyd, Muntz, Reed come off the bench, but it felt too little too late in the game. Even though we were 1-0 down, it just didn't look like we were going to score, and at this point it was 0-0, and you were looking at 0-0 at the whole game and thinking, well, we would be staying up anyway, all will be fine, and then Luton scores and then we concede, and it suddenly becomes a realistic expectation of us to be possibly going down. So it's now down to Wednesday and possibly 2 to 3 weeks on from there. Who knows? It's possibly down to what happens to Wigan. But you've got Charlton with a difficult game. Luton have got a game against Blackburn, I think. And we've got a game against Derby. So someone's playing Blackburn. I think one of the others might be playing Leeds. But to take it down to the last game again is unacceptable. Where we were 14, 15 games ago is where we should have finished this season. And it's not respective of the team, not respective of what we had coaching-wise, and certainly not respective of the fans. And I feel like not having the fans there has had a huge impact on our team, as I think it's proved once again the fans are the core of the team. So the past, where we've been told, oh, we had bad home form because the fans were getting on our backs and all that, well, I think the last 15 to 16 games now without a win has proved the fact that it's not the fans. Having multiple games since lockdown and not winning a single one, not really looking like you're going to win any of them either, scraping draws and losing against teams you just shouldn't be losing against. Now, obviously we're on to the last game against Mayors got a Derby on Wednesday, and I will do a video on Tuesday possibly to do a prediction of what I think will happen, scores in all the games and prediction for positions, where they'll be if what happens. And obviously at the moment I'll do it with Wigan getting 12 points deducted and without them getting 12 points deducted. So there we go. Anyway, see you on Tuesday and then on Wednesday, where we will stay up. Who knows? Keep it on.